Hey, welcome students. In this video, we're going to draw the shape you see on your screen two different ways. We're going to focus on making us a little more efficient. We are going to draw it first using the mirror tool, and then we're going to go back and draw it using the array tool. And just like the first couple of videos in this series, once you've done some practice along with the video, you'll get a chance to do a few independent drawings. So like I said, first one we're going to do is the mirror tool. So when we look at this object, we want to think about symmetry. So symmetry is balanced left to right, up and down. Pretty much anywhere you could draw a line and have a mirror image. So on this one, I could even go from this lower left-hand corner where my cursor is now to this upper right-hand corner, and I could say that's a mirror line or a line of symmetry. Right? So we're going to use that to our advantage. We're actually just going to draw these bottom two lines here, and we're going to mirror it around a couple of times to make the entire object. Right? So I am in the wrong drafting program. Let me shut Fusion down and go to AutoCAD. And we will draw this shape out. I apologize for the wait. You could probably fast forward at this point until I open it up. Oh, here we go. All right, so we're going to go new. And just like all of our other ones, a few of you are saying, like, how do I save? Again, I can come up here to the AutoCAD. This is like my file button, and I can save. I can hit the little disk over here. I can do Control S, but whatever your preferred method of saving, we want to make sure that we get that done right off the bat. So we've created a file path. Okay, I'm going to save this in my Google file in my basic drafting. And I'm going to call this my shape. Let's call it our mirrored MIRRORED star. And then I'm going to come up to layer properties, just like we did in the previous couple of videos. I'm going to click on this button here, and I'm going to use the layer states manager to bring in my layers from previous drawings. So I'm going to go to import, and in one of our previous ones, we made this layers template. So I'm going to click on open. I'll say restore states, and that'll bring this in with the names and the colors. It does add this def points one, but again, we'll just ignore that for now. And now that we've got those brought in, we can close that menu down. And so I'm going to change from my text to the construction line. In my video here, the construction layer imported is turned off, probably how I had it when I saved it. So I'll go ahead and turn that light bulb on. Right? And then from construction, I'm going to take the line tool. I'm just going to pick a point, and I want to draw a line going up at a 45-degree angle. Okay. Again, this is a construction line, so I'm going to make it like 20 units long at a 45-degree angle. And I'll click Escape to free me from that tool. I'm going to come back to my Object Line tool now, and this is where we're going to draw those two dimension lines in our drawing. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line 15 units long, and then I'm going to draw a line going up at a 60-degree angle, 24 units long. And so again, in one of our previous videos, we talked about turning snaps on. I should be able to, once I've got the line tool selected, snap to the endpoint, and I can draw my 15 unit long line at a 0-degree angle. Right? I'm clicking the tab button to toggle between those. Now I want to come up 24, so I'm going to do the @ sign, 24 at 60 degrees, and I'll hit escape to free me from that line tool. I'm kind of zoomed in here, so I'm using the stylus and I'm pinching my fingers to zoom out. You could use the roller ball if you've got a mouse. Okay, here's the new tool that we're going to learn, the mirror tool. So I'm going to click on the mirror tool, and the first thing it tells me down here is select objects. So I'm going to click and go up from the bottom. Remember, if we go from the right to left, I just need to touch part of an object to select it. I want to select both those blue lines. All right, it still says select objects down here. So I'm going to click the Enter key. And now it wants me to specify the first point of my mirror line. So I'm going to come to the end of this yellow line, and then it says specify second point of mirror line. I'm just going to come to the other end. When I click on it, it'll give me a little preview of what it's going to do. And then if we look down at the command center here, it says erase source object. So it's asking me if I want to erase these two blue lines I initially selected. And the answer here is no. We do not want to erase those. So I'm going to hit N. I'll hit enter. And now I've got these two lines on here. Now I'm going to continue in this video to use the mirror tool. So I'm going to mirror it up next to draw this top left-hand one, and then we'll mirror this whole left-hand side over to the right side. Right? In order to do that, I've got to draw two more mirror lines. So I'm going to go back to my construction layer, right? And I'm going to grab the line tool, and I'll snap to the end point. And I'm not really concerned about how long this line is, but I do want it at 0 degrees. So I'm just going to tab over to 0, and we'll just do it at that random number. Now I'm going to do the line tool again. And this time, again, I'm not really concerned with how long it is, but I want it to come up at a 90-degree angle. So I'll hit 90, go enter, right? Then I can escape. So now I got these two center lines right smack dab in my project. I'll come back to object layer, and I'm going to use the mirror tool twice more. Right? So this time I'm going to just select my 4 lines by clicking on them. Maybe. There we go. There's 3 and 4. Then I'll hit enter, and it's asking me to specify the first point on my mirror line. So I'm going to come here, and my second point will be the end of that horizontal line. I'm going to hit N because I don't want to erase my source objects. Now I have these 2 lines up here. Right? I don't really need this line anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and click delete on it. I'll select it and then hit the delete button. Now we're going to mirror this one more time. So I'll go back to the mirror tool. I'm going to select all of these objects. Oop, I missed one down here, so I'm going to come back and click on that. Then I'll hit enter. And again, it's asking me to specify my first point right here. Specify my second point is down here. I'm going to hit the N for no. And I've mirrored this over. So with just 2 lines in that mirror tool, I was able to multiply that and make a finished drawing because we were able to identify some of those lines of symmetry before we got started. Okay, now there is another way that we can do this one. Right? So once we get to this point here, I'm going to ask you to take a leap of faith with me. We're going to hit the Control-Z button. It's Edit Undo. Right? And we're going to bring our drawing back to this point here. Right? So we just finished mirroring over these 2 blue lines. We've got 1/4 of our drawing done. Okay, I'm going to come back up here. Make sure you're on the object layer. Okay, and now we're going to use a different tool. This one's called Array, which will let me take objects and kind of pattern them around in a circular shape pattern. So I'm going to come up to Array. Right now it's on a rectangular array. Okay, and we're going to come down here to this polar array. Right, they both operate fairly similar. I bet after you see the polar array, you'll figure out the rectangular array. And I'm going to click on the polar array, and down here it says select your objects to polar array. And so again, I'm just going to click these 4 lines on my blue object layer. I'll hit enter, and then it wants me to specify the center point. So I went back too far here in this video. I need to give it a center point. All right, you do too, darn it. So we've got to go to our construction line. Oops. We got to go to our construction layer. We'll try that a second time. And we got to put those 2 center lines back in here. All right, so again, not really concerned with how long it is. I just want to make sure this one comes over at a 0-degree angle. And we'll come up from here at a 90-degree angle. Not super concerned with how long it is. All right. Now we can go back to our object layer. And we'll give this take 2. All right, so my polar array is already highlighted here, so I'm going to click it. We'll select these 4 objects. We'll hit enter. It's going to ask us to specify a center point, and now I've got a center point right here where these 2 cross. So I'm going to snap to perpendicular, and you can see all of a sudden I've got this snowflake looking thing on my screen. and my ribbon up here is totally different. So there's lots of options you've got in the array. What we want to do to right now is we're just going to go to items, and we're going to change our items from 6 to 4. And if I tab over, you can see it changes to the shape that I've got, right? So there are some different options up here. If you want to mess around with some of these, kind of experiment with them and see what you can do, you're more than welcome to, right? When you're done, your screen should look like mine. You could pause it here if you needed to. And then all we got to do is hit enter to lock that array in, and we're done because we've arrayed this around. And so I'm going to have you save this. We'll do just like we did before. You can take a screenshot of this object, put it into a Google Doc and submit it to me, and then you're going to work your way through the next 2 shapes on this sheet that we referenced for shape 1.